Movie trailers are a lost art form. Not many movie trailers that come out nowadays get this much attention and hype and organization, because most trailers that come out nowadays are just cookie cutter things of what you've already seen before. It's the slowed down songs that you've already seen. Most of them don't show the cinematography or the actual art behind the film. Most of them just give you pretty much everything that you need to know. And they're pretty ass. When was the last time you saw a movie trailer when you were like, man, now that one looks good? Properly hypes you up for the movie. I've said that Joker 2 wasn't that bad, but easily the best part about Joker 2 was the trailers that have come out for Joker 2. However, in this last week, we got a trailer that finally returned us back to the lost art form that is good trailers and is setting the world ablaze, and that is the trailer for the movie that's going to come out in June of 2025, 28 years later. I noticed this movie, or this trailer for this film dropped randomly in the middle of the night, out of nowhere. I think it was like 3 in the morning, or based on where your time zone was. And I watched the trailer on Twitter. The trailer was posted on Twitter, and I saw it, and I was like, oh man, that's interesting. I clicked and I watched it, and I was like, well, fuck. This movie looks insane. 28 years later looks like an absolutely incredible movie. It looks really, really good, and all we got was like a 2-minute teaser trailer with no dialogue. All that there was the incredibly catchy, eerie, creepy, terrifying poem Boots that was looping over the trailer that perfectly was synced up to the trailer, and not only that was it tickles the brain, it tickles the ear just right, and you're watching it and you're like, well, this looks fantastic, and you're hearing it, and like the audio behind the trailer is so creepy, and the poem is so creepy, is that it really sets a tone for that world and the ominous of it, the mysterious nature of it. Like whenever I first watched the trailer, I was first astonished by that poem and that audio and it's syncing up with the trailer, that I wasn't actually really paying attention to what was going on. I was more listening to the actual trailer. Now, the audio over the trailer was the poem Boots by Rudyard Kipling, and everybody's talking about, of course, the poem and the reciting of it. And the audio from it is from the Taylor Holmes reciting of that audio. And I guess they used that poem in actual military stuff, which is pretty crazy. But not talking about the poem, which is obviously a fantastic choice to put over the trailer. Let's just talk about the things that were in the trailer. First off, the main big thing that we got is we don't know if Cillian Murphy's going to be in this movie or not, but we do see Aaron Taylor Johnson, who apparently just can't get out of the way of money. This guy cannot fucking stop getting paid. And I don't want, like, dude, Bullet Train, he was in Craven, which unfortunately just killed, well, not unfortunately. He actually did God's work by starring in Craven, because Craven is what murdered the Sony thing, and we'll talk about that later. But also, like, Bullet Train, Craven, now these fucking might be the next James Bond. This dude cannot get out of the way of money recently, and I love it. Aaron Taylor Johnson's an absolute G, so you just like to see that. But the thing in the trailer, in the content of it, was what I'm watching, and I'm like, this movie looks really good, and the concept of the rage virus is still around all damn near 30 years later. Aaron Taylor Johnson's character must have been like fucking 3 whenever the virus took over. This is the only world that he knows. And with zombies, and I know people are going to come at me with zombies, it's zombies. It's just a different way of saying zombies. Like, that IP, I don't know if that's the right saying for it, but zombies is just so overly done these days, how many zombie projects come out, and I love zombie projects. They are fantastic to me, but they have to be done right. That is the most important thing, and they have to bring something interesting and new and fresh to the table, and bringing back the original director to one of the most iconic zombie movies ever made in 28 Days Later, that ended up having an actual pretty good sequel too. There's something about 28 years later that really, you're like, I think this is going to be good. Aaron Taylor Johnson is your lead. That's a pretty damn good choice. Don't know if Cillian Murphy's going to be in it yet. That zombie in the trailer that rised up in a very creepy... By the way, the trailer for this movie looks like it's going to absolutely wreck me. It's the same way I felt about Barbarian. That movie didn't end up wrecking me at the end of the day, but that trailer, that was a well-done trailer. That movie looked like it was going to fuck me up. This movie looks like it might fuck me up, too. I'm going to be fucking ass-clamped in the seat, terrified. I don't know if that was Cillian Murphy. It looked like Cillian Murphy, but I don't think it was Cillian Murphy. And if it was, that would suck, because you want to see him in it. We'll see. Obviously, it looks like the survivors are living on an island, which is probably the best place for it, because these zombies in this world are fucking track marathon runners. And it appears that the zombies have indeed not starved out. They have adapted in some way, and not good. Yeah, that's bad. But of course, because it's been 30 years, so you have to find a way to do that. But it looks like your very interesting zombies film. You got cults. You got these fucking freakishly fast, horrifying zombies. You got a great cast. Your directors are coming back to do this thing. And by the way, not fucking just any directors. Danny Boyle coming back to do this. That's not, sorry, text message. That's not just like a fucking throw it away director. What I'm curious about is that they seem to be leaning in a way where this is, what's the best way I can describe it? I guess there is no other way to describe it. This is a new trilogy of films, which is interesting to me because it's been so long since we've seen a 28 days, weeks later project. Like, this movie's been in development hell for the rights for a very long time. And garnered. I'm sure that this is going to be a success, but it's interesting to me that how they're already going to be doing 3 of these things, or at least 2. I know of 2. I've heard more that they're doing 2 because they filmed this one and the next one back to back. I believe that they're going to do the 3rd one, which is also weird to me. That I'm a little concerned about is that they filmed this one back to back with the next one, and Danny Boyle directed this one, and the next one was directed by a different director. And that one is directed by Nia DaCosta, who directed the Marvels films, directed Candyman, which Candyman brings me a little more hope. Not with, it seems, and I'm not saying Nia DaCosta can't do it, I'm just saying semi-unproven. If you want to come back and make a very artistic bang with this thing. Danny Boyle, Oscar-winning director, this movie looks beautifully shot and made. And then Nia DaCosta, who made the Marvels. I don't know, and I'm not saying Nia DaCosta can't do it. I'm actually rooting for Nia DaCosta to prove it off. It's just that is a very tall order. It's a hard ask. It's a hard ask for any director to follow up with a very well-established director in a very well-established IP, and Nia DaCosta, very talented, obviously. Just we haven't. I don't know if we've seen her step up to that caliber of a film yet. Now, what does give me optimism about Nia DaCosta is that she was obviously given the Marvels role and the Candyman role without those accolades to her name yet. So clearly there's something that people see in her, which is very good. And with Danny Boyle and Cillian overseeing the whole thing and making sure everything looks good, if they chose her, I'm in. And I fully trust that vision. I just think it's like, on paper, of course, I think that's fair to be skeptical about, but I'm not afraid of it. Let's see what it looks like. But one thing I can say, the original 28 Years Later looks absolutely fantastic, and I can't wait for this movie, just based on the 2 seconds that we got, and that's why I think trailers are a masterclass that needs to come back. Obviously, the world looks great, the setting looks great, the way it's shot looks great, the cast looks great, the audio design, obviously, they have that on fucking lock. But 28 Years Later looks really good. Let me know what you think of it. We're still 6 months out, but that's not that long. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace, love, adios, bye-bye.